So we have a special guest this hour here on Astra'S World, Anthony ONeal.
Astra, how are you? I got the name right too that time.
Yes,
Yes.
you did. Now, Anthony, you're a financial and debt expert, and you're also the #1 national best-selling author. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. Means a lot.
Tell me about a couple of the books that you've written.
So I have 3 books currently out right now. I have a book. The first book that I wrote was called The Graduate Survivor Guide: 5 Mistakes You Can't Afford to Make in College. And that was pretty much just going throughout all of my mistakes that I've made. I really all of them. I made 100, but I only could put 5 of them in a book.
We've all made 1,000.
And so, I put that inside a book, just helping young people to avoid high school seniors who are about to walk into the college life. Just some of the mistakes that I made, because, I was kicked out of school, unfortunately, at a young age of college. And so I wanted to help them avoid those mistakes. And then my next book was Debt-Free Degree, which was a #1 national bestseller last year in October.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And it's a book simply about the step-by-step process on how to get into college. I grew up in a minority community, a minority home, and we didn't have access to certain things. And so I said, you know what, I want to put this in a book for all people. So this way, if they don't have access to it, then here it is. So it's not an encouragement book. It's here's what you do in the 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, this semester, this summer. It is the detailed map on how to get in college without racking up any debt at all. And then just last Monday, I released a quick read. It's about 64 pages. It's called Destroy Your Student Loan Debt. So I just realized quickly that I helped young people get into college debt free. What about people like you and I who may have student loans and they're like, yo, how do I get out of my student loan debt quickly as well? So I released that. I'm just only talking about paying off your student loan debt. 64 pages, take you an hour and a half to read it. But I cover everything from, what's my thoughts on loan forgiveness? How does that impact us in the community? 2, when is the best time to refinance? 3, what are the tactics to attack your debt? And how do you pay more on the principal and not on interest? So those are the 3 books that I have right now. Working on my 4th. It's going to be different, something around the mindset of how we look at finances. And I'm very big on building legacy. So I'm excited about working on that journey here over the next year.
That's amazing. Now, the coronavirus, obviously it's taken a toll on all of us, especially financially. People are losing their jobs, they're getting furloughed, and it obviously creates a domino effect. People can't pay their bills because they're not getting any money coming in. So the first thing that sets in right away is panic. So what are some things that you feel we can do when that anxiety does kick in?
Well, the very first thing is do not panic. Right now, one of my good friends, Dr. D, says in time of crisis, facts become your best friend. And so right now, I want you to operate off of facts, not fear. One of the key things I'm always telling myself every single day is speak what you seek, not what you see. And so right now, we can't speak fear. We got to speak what we seek. We want wellness. We want financial security. We want to get back to work. We want to get back to normal. So let's start speaking that. So the #1 thing is I'm definitely saying, do not panic. I get it. It's real. Even as an influencer myself, I still get a little nervous because I don't want to get sick. I don't want you to get sick.
No.
But at the same time, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to make the wise decisions during this time. And I'm not going to operate off of fear.
Now, what about people that live paycheck to paycheck? I mean, I live in New York City. A lot of my friends are that type. We work, we have a huge rent to pay. So basically, we're living paycheck to paycheck. What happens to the people that may have either lost their jobs or got furloughed? What do you say to people like that, especially that don't have an emergency fund?
Yeah, and that's man, I understand. Let me put it like that. Nearly 80% of us in America today are living paycheck to paycheck. Let's be honest, the average person is going to have anywhere between $80,000 to about $120,000 in debt. And so the very first thing I'm going to say right now, if you did lose your job and if you got furloughed, now is the best time to get on a budget, okay? And create a zero-based budget. So if you're filing for unemployment, if you're getting that extra $600 in, if you're going to get the stimulus check that should be coming out next week, the first batch of checks of whoever filed their taxes in 2018 and 2019, budget this money out on paper. So list your income, list all the money you have available, and then list your expenses. And at the bottom of that, it should equal 0. So I call this a zero-based budget. I'm going to spend all my money on paper before anything happens. So that way I can see. And then when you get on that budget, look for some things where you can cut some unexpenses. But at the same time, right now, if you lost your job, if you don't have any illness, prior illness, if you don't have things that are like circulating below, there are some other places out there where you can get some part-time jobs at right now. So get creative with that. Grocery stores are hiring right now. Online retailers are hiring. Food delivery services are hiring. I'm ordering food a lot, and I'm tipping a lot as well, because they're putting their lives at risk, and they're sacrificing for us. And so I'm very safe when I get my stuff. I wipe it down, and I even wipe down the extra $25 I'm gonna tip them, and I'm giving them some extra money. So right now is a time to, one, get on a budget, assess your situation, see if there are some jobs out there that you feel comfortable doing, and take advantage of that time. And do not go to payday lender places, you guys. Stay away from these places that are going to just charge you interest out the yin yang. You're putting yourself in a harder situation, but get on a budget.
So if you're just joining us here on Astra'S World on Pitbull's Globalization, we're talking to financial and debt expert Anthony ONeal, who's been breaking down some really good ideas of what we need to do to pretty much save the few pennies that we may have at the moment, especially for people that have, been losing their jobs or getting furloughed. I know you were talking about cutting back on certain bills, like I know like gym memberships and things like that. What do you think about paid dating apps?
As a single man, believe it or not, I'm gonna say cut them. I mean, if you're looking for someone, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, that's your world right now, and it's free. But Tinder
and Bumble are pretty free too. You don't have to do the upgraded membership.
Oh man, that was a good question. I love it. But all seriously though, I get it. But right now, even if you do find someone, you can't go out on a date unless you get creative on a FaceTime date.
That's the new thing. The new wave is FaceTime dating.
See, so here's my thing. This is what I'm going to suggest. Before you cut it, get on that budget. When you get on that budget, just make sure you cover your four walls. And I always say utility, foods, your mortgage, and transportation. If you got money left over after that to take care of that, and you're going after your bills and you still want to spend $4 for an app, I'm okay with that. But make sure we take care of our priorities right now, especially in all seriousness, being serious is your four walls. And make sure you have something to eat. Make sure your lights and your water is still on. Make sure that your mortgage or your rent is still being paid. And make sure you got some gas in the tank though. But right now, focus on your needs, not your wants. But if you got some extra money coming in, then you want to spend that extra $4 or $5, I ain't mad at you.
I mean, I know on a normal day, if we weren't going through what we're going through, some people may think about cutting things like, Netflix or, their cable bill. But do you really think that that's necessary at the moment? And I'm only saying that because right now, since we're all stuck home, what else is there to do but to watch TV sometimes or to go online? You need that internet. You need that Netflix. You need those things that are going to, keep you going. So what do you think about those added bills that really could be cut, but you kind of don't want to cut right now?
Yeah, and I get it. So here will be where I challenge people at. I still have Netflix, but I had Hulu and Netflix. I did cut one of them. Gotcha. I don't think you need both of them. And I mean this when I say this, like, use this time. I believe that leaders, millionaires, entrepreneurs, business owners, some job expansions are going to be birthed during this time. And so if you're at home just spending a lot of time entertaining yourself and not growing your mind, then I believe that you're going to be stuck when you get out of this thing. So I'm watching Netflix and I'm being entertained, but at the same time, I'm spending the majority of my day, at least 8 hours of my day, working and building my brain. I believe that I can come up with something creative during this time that will make me millions of dollars after this process. And then I can go back and watch all the TV. Heck, I can honestly make my own TV show if I really wanted to, if I got that kind of money. And so what I'm recommending to young people is just to step back, cut some unwanted things. If you're hurting for money, cut the things that you don't need. Read a book, get online and watch a masterclass, learn a new trade, learn a new skill. But you're right. I'm not going to sit here in front and act like watching something throughout this time is not fun, but just make sure that you have a balance there and it's healthy.
I want to kind of take it onto a different angle right now. What does this mean for the real estate market? Because a
You know,
lot of
right
people
now,
that I know have been saying, this could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. I
yeah.
want to know your take on it.
And that's funny. I was talking to my realtor because I was like, hey, with my income right now, I'm blessed to where I can make some moves financially, maybe to buy some real estate. And right now, they are seeing that, for an example, I teach if you're out of debt and you get a 3 to 6 months emergency fund, go ahead and buy a house. The interest rates are going up on buying a house right now. Some of them are
Okay.
because it's harder to get approved. And so 2 weeks ago, you probably could have got a 3% interest rate. Now we're seeing them at 4 and 5%. But at the same time, we are starting to see houses come down a little bit more. And so what I'm saying is, if you are already in the market of buying a home or buying some land or doing some type of investment in there, just make sure you have your foundations covered, get out of debt, get an emergency fund. But talk to a realtor and ask them, like, hey, what's going on here? I'm seeing some up and down stuff. Interest rates are going up, but the cost of the houses are going down.
Right.
I'm not a huge fan of the interest rate going up, so I would probably wait. But I mean, it really all depends. I really can't say if it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing because we really haven't seen the impact. But depending on how long this goes, it could become a good thing for people who are prepared to buy.
Gotcha.
Then it could be a bad thing for the people who are prepared to sell.
Gotcha. See, and that's why it could turn into a buyer's market, which for people like myself, that would be great.
Yes. Yeah. So you trying to move, son? Okay, go get you a little
I
condo or
mean,
townhome.
listen, if prices are going to go down and I'm going to be able to afford it, I might as well jump on it while I can.
You might as well. And I'm saying the same thing about, getting like a growth stock mutual fund in stocks right now. You could buy these stocks at a sale right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm always advising people like, hey, not just on the real estate side, not just in the car market side, but now is the best time to invest into your future and
Right.
possibly look into getting a good growth stock mutual fund.
Speaking about that, investing into your future usually includes the 401k. And a lot of
Yeah.
companies right now are not contributing because of the
Mhm.
situation that we're going through. I know younger people don't really need the 401k right now, obviously, because we don't need that till retirement age. But what about for the people that are older that actually do need it? What are your thoughts on that?
Let it sit because I mean, I say we'll be out of this in about a month and a half, 2 months. The stock market is going to get back up and running. You do not want to be penalized because if you're close to it, you're still not at that age.
Can you
So
use it
if you
without a penalty, actually? The
can
401k
you
right now?
withdraw right now for 401k? You
Yeah.
could do it. There's some certain clauses. I forgot what the president just announced a few days ago. But I don't recommend it. The only time I recommend withdrawing from your 401k is to avoid a foreclosure or a family crazy like death situation or bankruptcy.
Gotcha.
Those are the only times that I actually recommend it. But because you're scared right now, no, because that's just the stock market. It goes up
Right.
and down. It goes up and down. And so you don't pull out when it goes down and put back in when it goes up. No, you keep it, you ride that train until it's time for you to pull out with no penalties.
A few of our listeners actually spoke up and they have some questions for you. Jenna Ings says, debunking personal loans, are they worth it or do they end up costing you more in the long run?
Debunking them as far as in like paying them off. Do you know what you means by that?
Yeah, probably like just kind of like stopping, like just giving up
Yeah.
on it for the moment. Is it worth it or does it end up
Yeah.
costing you more in
Right.
the long run?
Yeah, no, right now, as far as in paying back any type of debt, any type of loans you may have, just focus on the four walls until we get through this season. If you lost your income, now, if you haven't lost your income and your job is not at jeopardy, yeah, keep attacking your debt, especially like student loans right now, with there's no interest. You can actually apply now all this money towards your principal. But if you are struggling with cash, if your job is kind of rocky right now, Sally Mae, she don't need her money, BB&T, Bank of America, they don't need their money right now. Focus on those four walls: paying your mortgage and rent, getting foods, utilities, and taking care of your transportation.
Personalized with Love wants to know, are we heading into a recession?
We're not in a money crisis yet, okay? But I do believe it is time for one. We see this with every 10 to 12 years, some form of recession. We're not there just yet, but we could be seeing one. And if we are heading into a recession, the grass is always green on the other side. So I'm prepared for it. I can't wait if it does happen, but I can't say yes or no just yet.
Does that make you nervous at all or are you actually looking forward to something like that?
It does make me nervous. I definitely want to see, something go down because it's going to impact a lot of people.
Right.
And like you
The
said, right
world
now,
at this point, it's going to impact the entire world.
the entire world. And
Yeah.
so it's not something that I'm hoping for. I hope that it continues to stay high. But if it is, I know I will be all right. And I pray that, we just get through it as quickly as possible.
Dynamo 17 wants to know, how does one recover from this mess?
That's a good question. And this is what I'm telling everyone. Gain as much financial literacy as you possibly can. I would recommend everyone go to daveramsey.com/hope. We are offering a free 14-day class of how we teach how to handle your money, how to build wealth, how to get out of debt, and how to bounce back after this. Now, it's free for 14 days at daveramsey.com/hope. And that's what I'm recommending to everyone. Just gain as much knowledge as you possibly can. Listen to shows like yours who are bringing on experts and lean from their wisdom. And so that's what I would recommend at this present time. Keep the faith, keep going, and get a lot of financial literacy during this season.
And our last question from I Dream of Jeannie 122. While you're paying off your debt, how long do you wait to save for retirement?
You start investing into retirement as soon as you get out of debt, and as soon as you set aside at least 3 months for emergencies. So that depends on how long it takes you. I didn't start investing into my 401k until I had at least 6 months of my income on reserve. Then after that, I started investing 15% of all of my income into some form of retirement plans. And so it really all depends on how long it takes you to get out of debt and to get the emergency funds up. And a lot of people say, well, shouldn't I invest if my employer matches? Well, the average person who invests while they are in debt with no savings account only invests 1 to 2% because they just have all this debt there. So what we're saying is get out of debt and invest 15%. So not only will you catch up, but you will surpass where you are because now you're investing more and you're getting more money with compound interest.
And you just have to learn how to spend less. That's the bottom line.
What you need me for? You know how to do this.
I need you for the numbers. That's all I need you for.
She over here teaching it right. You gotta learn how to say.
You just have to learn how to be frugal. That's what I tell everybody. Learn how to be frugal, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, and I tell that too.
I've been telling people, do you need it or do you want it? There are two different things here.
Yep.
Whether you need it, that's one thing. But if you want it, you really don't need it.
And here's the thing that I think a lot of people, because you're right. Who is the hardest person to say no to?
Yourself.
And so I think it's easy to say no to you, but to look myself in the mirror and be like, no, Anthony, you don't need this. No, Anthony, you don't need this. So saying no to yourself today is saying yes to yourself in the future.
Right. I look at it as a way to reward yourself when you deserve it. when you can do it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is why she's the host of this show. I'm the guest because she don't need no guests at all.
Oh my goodness. Anthony ONeal, financial and debt expert. Please tell everyone how they can reach out to you, especially if they have any other questions that they might want to ask you.
Man, the best place to reach out to me is on my IG page at Anthony ONeal, ANTHONYONEAL. I'm there every single day doing lives, answering money questions every day. I'm around this time and helping people out. Or if they want to just buy some of my products, they can go to AnthonyONeal.com or Amazon or Barnes & Noble. It's all over the place, but I would love to connect with them. And if some people tell me they found you on your show on IG, I'll send them a free quick read on how to get out of their student loan debt real quick, especially during this time.
Oh, that's so amazing. Thank you so much.
No,
and thank you so much for taking out the time, and please stay safe during this craziness.
You too now, for real.
All right. And if you have any extra money laying around, I have no problem taking it.
Yo, I love it.